Hello, I'm Susan Woods of Susan Woods Nonprofit Solutions. Thank you for your time. Seeing Mr. George Floyd lose his life really impacted me very deeply. Now, of course, being a Black woman born and raised in South Carolina, I've seen my share of terrible things. However, I've never seen anything so awful because it happened seemingly in slow motion. This man went from living until not living, seemingly in slow motion, but actually it was 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Seeing that really made me want to do something, like so many other people right now who want to do something to make a difference. So I decided to invest in Black Lives Matter because that's the rallying cry. So I wanted to invest. Unfortunately, when I started looking into how to invest in Black Lives Matter, I learned that Black Lives Matter is not structured. There is no clear leadership, and there is no financial transparency that will allow you to follow the money. In other words, I would not know how my financial investment would be used. So I noticed that there are several chapters and entities using the Black Lives Matter name or some form of it. I decided to investigate the chapters and the entities to see how they are structured, to see if I could determine financial transparency or how to follow the money. That is how the investigative series started. I'm I started this investigative series to focus on one chapter or one entity at a time and to share my results using the video using my YouTube channel platform. For each chapter and entity, I'm asking the question, where is the money? Now in this video message, I'm focusing on the Detroit chapter, Black Lives Matter Detroit. I'm focusing on how they use money, how they are structured, and other questions that I'm going to answer. So again, I'm Susan Woods of Susan Woods Nonprofit Solutions, and this is an investigative series. Before I go into talking about Detroit, let me just give you a little bit of information about me that I feel qualifies me to conduct investigations. I started Comprehensive Community-Based Solutions Incorporated in 2003. I earned an official 501c3 status in 2006. I operated two programs underneath this umbrella, this organizational umbrella. One was called Panorama Computer Learning. And through that program, I taught displaced manufacturing workers who were middle-aged and had lost their jobs how to use computers. The second program that I offered under the organization was called the Emerging Leaders Mentorship Program for Black Male Youth. I'm not operating a program underneath the organization right now, but the organization is still active because I want to keep the status in case I decide to offer another program in the future. I earned three nonprofit management certificates, one from Duke University, one from Wake Forest University, and one from Winthrop University. I'm also a three-time graduate of Winthrop University. I earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration, a Master of Arts in Teaching degree, Business Education, and a Master of Business Administration degree, MBA. I teach nonprofit classes in person and online. I teach people how to start, fund, manage, sustain, and reinstate 501c3 nonprofit organizations. I also teach a grant writing masterclass. I complete the Form 1023 application for recognition of exemption for clients across the United States. I've been doing this since 2010, and thus far I have completed 112 application packets. My approval rating from the IRS on behalf of my clients is 100%. Every client that submitted their application packet that I completed earned their 501c3 status. So that's just some information about me, because I wanted to establish credibility before I started talking about the different entities and chapters of Black Lives Matter. So let's move on now to the investigation. This is episode 7, and again, all of the investigations will answer the question, where is the money? And we're talking about Black Lives Matter Detroit chapter. Again, episode 7 focuses on Black Lives Matter, the Detroit chapter. Where is the money? According to blacklivesmatter.com, there are several Black Lives Matter chapters that have gone through whatever process is necessary to earn the title of chapter on the blacklivesmatter.com website. Again, we're focusing on Detroit, the Detroit chapter, for this video message. Here are the investigation questions that I'm going to try to answer for you regarding this chapter. The leadership names, mailing address, phone number, email or social media, Black Lives Matter chapter status, Black Lives Matter IRS filing status, revenues generated, revenues distributed, are they accepting donations, and do they provide financial transparency? These are the questions or topics that I'm going to focus on during the investigation. One thing I like to do with these investigations, I like to demonstrate how I find the answers. I don't want to just give you the results and not show you how I came to the results. So I'm going to pause my screen and I'm going to go to the Black Lives Matter Detroit chapter's website. So just one moment, please, while I do that. Thank you for your patience. I'm just going to the Black Lives Matter Detroit chapter's website so that you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so now I am on the Black Lives Matter Detroit website. So it's blmdetroit.com. So BLM Detroit official statement. In response to recent events and with the integrity to our goals, BLM Detroit is proud to announce a new virtual event schedule. We are saddened, angered, but unfortunately unsurprised by recent police actions against Black Americans. While we did not organize last weekend's protest actions, we fully support the Detroiters who came out to speak truth to power. Our hearts go out to the lives that have been lost, along with the families of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and the Black women, trans, non-binary individuals, and men who deal with similar injustices every day. We encourage all Detroiters to keep each other safe as we continue to fight for our freedom. So this is the official statement from Black Lives Matter Detroit. Okay. So let's get to the questions that I promised that I would try to answer. Do we have any information on leadership contact information? Well, here is leadership and membership. So I'm going to click on that. In leadership, we have Curtis Renee. She's co-lead organizer and editor of the record. And we have John Sloan III, co-lead organizer, editor, the record. So I'm assuming that these are the leaders of Black Lives Matter Detroit. And then you can read the biographical information for each one of these co-leaders. Okay. The next question, or the next question is regarding um, the chapter status. Do they have chapter status? And chapter status meaning, are they one of the official chapters under blacklivesmatter.com? And the answer to that question is yes. Okay. So now I'm going to just scroll through the website a little bit more, go to the home page. Now I'm going to go down to mission and values just to take a closer look at what they are about. About us, our mission statement: Black Lives Matter Detroit fights for Black liberation using mass media and educational programming to foster an ever-evolving ecosystem based upon the equitable representation and centering of all identities within the African diaspora. And then you can see, I'm not going to read all of the values, but they have values listed here. And then you have partner information here. Okay, let's go to the blog. Go to the blog. This blog was posted on June 5th, I believe. I'm assuming June 5th of this year. What we mean when we say Black Lives Matter and why protesting brutality, let me just click on the whole blog, and why protesting brutality is enough. And this is written by the co-lead organizers. And I'm not going to read everything listed here, but I do encourage you to read this information. Okay, just scrolling through. I wanted to read this paragraph here because it struck me when I read it the first time. And it's out of context, but you can read the background to get an understanding of how he came about this, or how they came about writing this paragraph. This is important because these moments can die out with the energy of a firecracker, a bright flash of light quickly reduced to a smoldering flame. Black bodies are beaten, vandalized, and mutilated by police forces across the country. And unfortunately, it isn't new. This fact has been a blatant reality for centuries. And to focus only on police brutality is to address merely a portion of the problem. Okay, so I thought that was a good statement. Many people, regardless of race, view the Black Lives Matter movement in our official network of chapters as a loosely organized group of young people united in an effort to abolish or demonize police officers. This is far from the truth. We look at the entirety of what it means to value Black life. Here in Detroit, we support and organize youth arts programming because we recognize that our children aren't given the same access to education as their white counterparts, I'm assuming. Here in Detroit, we work to support local urban farms because we understand that our communities aren't provided the same access to nutrition. Now, I'm not going to read all of these statements of things that they do, but I do applaud them for listing them because they do give us a little bit of insight on some of the program services they provide, which is much better than what their counterparts provide on their websites. So that this is a great start. My only suggestion would be to show the budgets for each one of the programs. For example, how much does it cost to offer youth arts programming? What's the description of it? Describe what you provide. Describe the intake process. Describe the goals and objectives. That would be my recommendation so that a person who wants to invest will know exactly where their money is going, how it's going to be spent, and what results they can expect. So I would recommend that they do that for each one of these things that they say they offer. But again, I commend them for at least giving us an insight into what they are trying to do in Detroit. So thank you for that. Now I'm going to talk about their IRS filing status. Do they have an IRS filing status? If so, what type? So again, I'm going to pause the screen so that I can go to irs.gov, the irs.gov website, to show you their filing status. So just one moment, please, as I pull that up. Okay, so now I am on irs.gov and I am at the tax exempt organization search page. And this is a page where you want to go to whenever you want to check the status of any organization or entity that is accepting money to improve the community. So I've done this so many times. I know to start with the organization name as my search because the Black Lives Matter Detroit website did not have an employer identification number. So I'm going to use the organization name and I'm going to type in a generic name, Black Lives Matter, and I'm going to click on search. And like I said, I've done this so many times. I know that there are going to be 13 results. So what I'm looking for is if any results are Black Lives Matter, if there is a Black Lives Matter Detroit result. So let's scroll down and look at the different entities that have either have 501c3 status or some type of nonprofit status or had it. For example, North Charleston had a nonprofit status, but you can tell that it's now revoked because it's on the auto revocation list. But I'm going to scroll down to see if I can find a Black Lives Matter Detroit listing here. So I'm scrolling down and I don't see one. There is not a Black Lives Matter Detroit site, list listed here. Okay, so that lets me know that Black Lives Matter Detroit does not have a nonprofit status because a nonprofit status is the same as a tax exempt status, and they don't have a tax exempt status, so they didn't file for nonprofit or tax exempt status. Okay. Now, let me go back to the Black Lives Matter site one last time so that I can answer the other questions regarding revenue. So I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to go back to Black Lives Matter once again, one last time. And I'm going to see if there's any documentation regarding how they use the money, how they generate revenues and how they use it, because that's the question. Where is the money? So I'm back to the Black Lives Matter page and I'm going to resume sharing. And now I am on the donate page. I'm on the donate page and it says, we need your help. Black Lives Matter Detroit is a proud sponsored project of Allied Media Projects. Okay, so here we go. Allied Media Projects, whatever that is, sponsors Black Lives Matter Detroit, probably as a fiscal agent, meaning that Allied Media Projects probably has some type of tax exempt status in order to accept donations on behalf of Black Lives Matter Detroit. Your donations go directly towards helping us build this organization, continue our youth programming, promote political education, and support our public partners. Okay, so click here to donate. Click here to donate. Don't have a, it's not letting me. Maybe I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Here we go. Click here to donate. Sorry. So here is Allied Media Projects page. And this is a page that Allied Media Projects established for Black Lives Matter Detroit. So not going to read all of this. I'm just wondering, like I said, here you go. Thank you for your interest in supporting BLM Detroit. All donations are processed through Allied Media Projects, a 501c3 tax-deductible organization. You can also contribute by sending a check made out to Allied Media Project and mail it to the following address. And they provide the address there. Why? Why are they using Allied Media Projects to serve as a fiscal agent to process their donations? Why? I'm wondering. So let's take a look. Let's take a little detour and dig a little deeper. Like I said, this is an investigation. So let's go back to irs.gov, and I'm going to search for Allied Media Projects just to see what their status is with the IRS, since they are accepting donations on behalf of Black Lives Matter Detroit. If I wanted to invest in Black Lives Matter Detroit, I need to know where my money is going. So I'm going to pause the screen, and I'm going to go back to IRS tax exempt organization search, and I'm going to locate Allied Media Projects to see what their status is. So I'm back to irs.gov, and I'm back to the tax exempt organization search. So I'm going to type in Allied Media Projects and just to see what their status is. Okay. I've typed in Allied Media Projects, and I'm going to scroll down, and here we are. Allied Media Projects. This is the EIN for Allied Media Projects. Doesn't provide a city or even a state. It says United States. So I'm going to click on it to see if any more information is provided. What other names does it operate under? Allied Media Projects Inc. Okay. And here are the Form 990 information returns. Now, the Form 990 information returns are used to show what types of revenues an organization receives and how much. It also shows how the money is used. So let's go to tax year 2018 and 2018 Form 990T filing. And let's see what is going on. Okay, so this is Allied Media. Okay, so this is not what we're looking for. This is apparently Allied Media Projects has a rental property business. So I'm going to, obviously that's not what we're looking for. So let me go out of this one. That's the wrong one. Let's go to this one. This must be the one that they use to track what people donate to Black Lives Matter Detroit. So let's click on that. Okay. So this is Allied Media Projects, and I'm looking for some information about Black Lives Matter. Let me increase the size so that you can see what I'm looking at a little bit better. Jeanette Lee is the principal officer, and the telephone number is there. Gross receipts, $8 million. They probably collect for more than Black Lives Matter. You know what? This organization is probably a pass-through organization for several nonprofits that use them as a fiscal agent. So let me just scroll through, because the current year is $6 million. So over $6 million, almost $7. So what I'm scrolling through to find is, I'm looking for some information specifically about Black Lives Matter. This is Allied Media Projects' mission. Allied Media Projects cultivates media strategies for a more just, creative, and collaborative world. We serve a network of media makers, okay, artists, educators, and technologists working for social justice. So I'm thinking that they probably have several nonprofit, not nonprofit organizations, but several entities that need nonprofit status to accept donations. So I'm thinking they're serving as a fiscal agent, but let's see. I'm going to keep going because we should be able to see Black Lives Matter somewhere listed. I made just do a search because I don't want to scroll through 42 pages of content. And they did have an accountant sign off on this. I don't know if you noticed that on the first page or not. And you can do what I'm doing. You can do the exact same thing that I'm doing if you are interested in investigating any of these chapters. Now, here are the names of the directors. They're not paid. Janet Lee is the executive director, so she gets paid $70,000. Let's keep going. Okay. What I think I'm gonna have to do is just do a search maybe for Black Lives Matter. I'm gonna scroll down quickly. Sorry. Okay, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. This organization provides a list of grants and other assistance to domestic organizations, total as expenses, compensation, other salaries. Other salaries over $1 million for other salaries. Who are the other salaries, I wonder? So you could just scroll through and see what I was looking for. I was looking for information regarding just Black Lives Matter. I thought they would itemize what goes to each one of the organizations that they support. And I'm assuming they support several based on the amount, but this may, as far as we can tell, this may just be Black Lives Matter. I don't know. Can't tell. Can't tell by what's shown here. So, total revenue, $8 million. Total expenses, $5 million. Revenue less expenses, 22,000. I'm sorry, 2,000. 2 million. Over 2 million. Ah, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I don't know how this works. Like I said, I thought I would be able to find information just about Black Lives Matter, but I don't see it. So I'm not gonna prolong it. Let me see. I'm looking for a way if I could just do a search on the name. Anyway, okay. I'm gonna get out of here because I don't see anything that shows an itemization of just Black Lives Matter that I was looking for. So I'm gonna close out. I'm gonna pause this and I'm gonna go back to my PowerPoint and finalize the investigation into Black Lives Matter Detroit. So I'm back to the PowerPoint presentation now, and I'm going to share my screen, and then we're going to talk about the results of the investigation. So now I'm back to the PowerPoint. So we're talking about the investigation results. Are there leadership names? Yes. Is there a mailing address? No. Phone number? No. Email or social media? Yes. Black Lives Matter chapter status under the blacklivesmatter.com webpage? Yes. Black Lives Matter IRS filing status? They don't have a filing status with the IRS, no. Revenues generated? Well, we don't really know based on the Form 990 information return from 2018. We can't tell, or I can't tell, what revenues are earmarked for Black Lives Matter unless they all are. Revenues distributed? They do provide a listing of how money is distributed, but I don't know if that's Black Lives Matter or if it's a combination of other organizations that they serve as fiscal agents. Are they accepting donations? Yes, they are accepting donations through Allied Media Projects. Is that financial transparency? I'm going to have to say no because I'm just not clear on if all of the money shown, the $8 million shown, is that Black Lives Matter money, or is it a combination of different entities? I'm going to go back to the Form 990. I'm going to see if I'm going to continue looking to see if there is any type of itemization of the entities that this organization serves as fiscal agent. And I will update you if I do find that. So this is the results of the investigation as far as the questions that I answered. The questions that I posed. So where do I stand? I support Black Lives Matter social activism. It makes me proud to see diverse groups of people marching for change and holding up Black Lives Matter posters. I support that 100%. I do not support the Black Lives Matter chapters and entities because they do not have formal leadership structure, measurable goals or objectives, common operational practices, financial transparency or accountability, and valid sustainability and long-term plans. This is just where I stand. These are my views. I know I've gotten some negative feedback from just a few people, very few people, who criticize me for speaking out about Black Lives Matter. I speak out about Black Lives Matter because people are giving so much money to Black Lives Matter, thinking that their money is going to be used for change or improvement in the Black community. Unfortunately, because you can't trace the money, we don't know whether the money is going into the Black community or not. And the chapters that I've investigated so far don't have a clear explanation of even the programs they offer in the community. And they certainly don't provide an amount that's required to operate the program. So I just don't have any confidence in them at all. And I feel bad thinking that the people who need the money the most are not getting it. So that's where I stand on Black Lives Matter. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're interested in these investigations, or if you're interested in any other topics that I have on YouTube. This is not all I do. I provide topics and classes on YouTube that help you start, fund, manage, sustain, and reinstate 501c3 nonprofit organizations. So subscribe to my channel today. And coming up next is episode number 8, and that's Black Lives Matter Los Angeles. And this is a big one. This is a big episode. So stay tuned and subscribe. Also, click on the bell if you want to be notified whenever I upload a new video to my YouTube channel. Again, this is Susan Woods of Susan Woods Nonprofit Solutions. My website is www.trustsusanwoods.com. Thank you and have a great day.